Hi folks, welcome back to the Tabletop's Edge. We've got something a little bit different for you today. We don't normally do a lot of unboxing videos on the channel, but my copy of The Third Winter from Multiman Publishing arrived today, so I thought I'd take advantage of the opportunity as I rip the shrink to let you all take a peek and see what comes inside the box. Now, The Third Winter is the 19th entry in the Operational Combat series, which started way back in 1992, published by the Gamers, and the series was designed by Dean Essig. The Third Winter, as you can see from the subtitle, covers the fighting in the Ukraine from September 1943 through April 1944. The Third Winter game designer is Anthony Burkett, and the game developer is Chip Saltzman. The box is a good 3-inch deep box. Actually, it's just a little over 3 inches deep. It's the same size box that Beyond the Rhine came in for the Operational Combat series. And don't worry, your monitor doesn't need any color adjustment. The little pinkish hue is actually the shrink wrap picking up the red reflection from the playing surface. So let's go ahead and get the shrink off this thing and take a look at what's inside. First up, we have the traditional MMP inventory slip here that lists all of the components that should be included in the box. You can see there are 5 map sheets, although one of those is a small map sheet, as we'll see shortly, that is for use with the introductory scenario or a small scenario. For the campaign game, it'll be a 4-mapper, which is going to mean you're looking at 44 by 66 inches to get the whole thing on a tabletop. Next up, we've got the game-specific rules. And for those of you unfamiliar with a lot of the Gamers style games, they all come with a series rule book, which has the common rules for all of the games in the series. And then each specific game will have a rule booklet like this that lists any special rules or unique items that you need to know for that particular game. As we look through here, you can see this is in full color, which I believe they started with their last game in the OCS, the Hungarian Rhapsody, possibly Smolensk prior to that. But it looks like you've got about 12 pages. The book itself is 36 pages in length. However, the rules themselves looks like they're only about 12 pages, and then you get into optional rules. There's some errata, and what's very nice here is they have some full color examples of play for some of the newer concepts that they are using in this particular game. So this looks like a decent rule book. It is on glossy paper though, which is a bit of a change. Normally they come on a nice matte almost cardstock type of paper. Next we have some player aids. This has the Axis breakdown counters. Again, this is something new that has just shown up in the last couple games in the series, which I do actually like. That looks like it's going to be useful. Here's one for the Soviets as well. And we've got some counter sheets here. I'm going to set these aside. We'll take a closer look at those in a moment. I've got one of the 2 dice that are supposed to be in here. We've got a map here. Here we go. Here is the series rule book, and this is on that traditional sort of heavy matte paper. Looks like it is black and white. There are some illustrations. Important to note, it is version 4.3, which has been stable then since the release of Smolensk back in 2018. So for fans of the series, good thing to know, you're not going to have to relearn any of the series rules. Everything is stable, and that's a good sign, and that actually a sign of the maturity of the system. Another few counter sheets here. We've got a very nice full color terrain effects chart. Some more counter sheets, and here is the small map I was referencing. This is an 11 by 17 map for the scorpions in a bottle scenario, which covers the fighting in the Korsun pocket. So we'll set that aside. We've got another counter sheet here, and we have an Axis player booklet. Again, it's full color, matte paper. This is going to contain things like your weather table, your rebuild chart, as well as your order of arrival, which is nicely done with images of the counters themselves that you'll need in full color. And then finally on the back is another copy of the terrain effects chart. So another nicely done play aid, some more counter sheets. Here are the series charts. This is a fold out, it's kind of a light cardstock, almost the same type of paper that the series rules is used for. It contains your combat table, your barrage tables, a lot of the charts you'll be using during the play of the game, including the sequence of play here. Again, these have been stable since since 2018 when Smolensk was published. Now we'll get to the maps here. Let me see, here we go. This is what I'm looking for. And the third book in the game is the scenario book. So you have the series rule book, then you have the game specific rule book, and finally the scenario book, which is comprised solely of scenarios and is a pretty decently thick book at 56 pages. There are a number of scenarios. It looks like the game comes with 8 scenarios, including that small scenario that takes place on the half map. The longest scenario is the campaign game start, which begins in 26 September 1943 and runs through 26 April 1944. That's 63 turns. Then you've got another large scenario that's 27 turns long, but it does look like there are a number of shorter scenarios. The rest of the scenarios are all under 10 turns. So if you're not necessarily looking for a huge, long campaign game to play, it looks like this is going to have some shorter scenarios that you can get through. Here we have one of the 4 large maps. They're 22 by 34, and as you can see, this is the kind of the style of the OCS maps, and it's been this way for several years now. You can see this one does include Kiev. What I will do near the end of the video here, I will go ahead and show you the 4 full maps assembled so you can see what those look like. Another counter sheet. Here we have the Soviet player booklet, which again is full color and has all the same information except for the Soviets that he will need, and a terrain effects chart on the back. We've got another counter sheet, another set of the series charts, and we have another map showing the Odessa area. Here we'll get these unfolded and give you a look at those. And yet another counter sheet, another extra terrain effects chart. So that's a total of 4 terrain effects charts if you include the ones on the back of the player booklets. Yet another map. And what we have here, we've got another counter sheet. This one is markers for the system, and a couple of player aids. It looks like we're getting to. We have an Axis player aid here with a general record track, some place for the dead pile where you'll rebuild units, some alert unit pools, information that is handy, and then we've got a multi-unit formation display here for the Axis. In the Operational Combat series, the units, infantry units, tend to be divisions, while the mobile units, your panzer divisions, your mechanized corps, are broken out into multi-unit formations with an identifying colored stripe to let you know that they are part of that same formation. And this just sort of breaks down the Axis multi-units for you. It's kind of a nice little handy display. And we have another page with more multi-unit formations for the Axis, and then the Soviets will have 2 of those for themselves. You can see quite a number of mobile formations involved in the fighting that this game covers. We have a Soviet player aid. This is used with one of the newer concepts that I think was introduced in Hungarian Rhapsody, with the higher level Soviet command allowing you to sort of rebuild and form the large mobile striking formations that they would use historically off map and then bring them onto play. It's a rather new concept to the OCS series, but plays very well. And finally, at the bottom of the box here, we have a Soviet player aid similar to the Axis one with the general record tracks. And we have the turn record, reinforcements, and weather display. This is nice, someplace to sort of stack up and organize the reinforcements for the month. As you can see, the Operational Combat Series uses a scale of 5 hexes to the mile in this particular game, and the turns are basically half-week turns, about 3.5 days. So you can see for each month they've got the starting date of the month, and then you can track the months across here. You can see it runs September to April. That's it for the box. Now let's take a closer look at some of the counter sheets, and then I'll show you what the full footprint of the game looks like as far as the maps go. Now, first thing we have is a counter sheet of markers, informational markers that you'll use. These are common to all the games in the series, and you've got 1, 2, 3 sheets of markers. And now we get to the first of the unit counter sheets. Here you have some of the Soviet forces. These darker colored Soviets, it's called almost an orangish brown, indicate Soviet Guard units. And then you've got the regular units here in the tan. This is primarily infantry divisions and some independent tank battalions here. Second counter sheet, we've got more of the same, and you can see here on the right-hand side are the mobile formations, the tank corps and some of the guard tank corps down there in orange for the Soviets. Counter sheet 3 is more guards, and again, this looks to be almost all multi-unit formations. We've got some breakdown regiments down here. And we get to the Germans. On the fourth counter sheet, you've got your headquarters here. Again, infantry divisions and some fortress brigades. And then you get into the multi-unit formations here on the right-hand side. The black SS units. And we've got some green, I believe those are Romanians. The light blue down here are Luftwaffe field troops, some artillery units here. Counter sheet 6, we've got some Hungarians in this dark blue, some air units, a lot of Soviet air units, not so many Axis air units here, and again more of those breakdown regiments and some transport units. And then finally on the 7th counter sheet, some more lost markers, some informational markers, game-specific stuff it looks like here. So 7 counter sheets plus an additional 3 sheets of markers. It's a big game. I believe there's over 1,700 combat units in the game here. Let's take a look and see what the maps look like once we get all 4 of them assembled. Here's a quick look at all 4 maps set up as they would need to be for the larger scenarios. As you can see, they will fit on a good-sized dining room table. There is one scenario that uses that small 11 by 17 map. I don't know if any of the other scenarios, if among them there are any 1 or 2 map scenarios. But as far as the map coverage goes, you can see they've got Kharkov here on the eastern edge, and the map comes across the southern Ukraine. Here's the Dnieper River winding its way through the eastern half of the maps into the northern reaches of the Black Sea down around the Odessa area. As we come up the middle of the map here, you'll find that Kiev is located there in the north central portion of the map. There's actually quite a bit of terrain on these maps in the form of woods and marshlands, some hills. And as you get out to the western side of the maps, you'll see they go as far out to the west to catch the kind of the northeastern portion of Romania there with the hills and mountains. So it's a good looking map, good looking game. I think it's a excellent addition to the OCS series. We're looking forward to getting this on the tabletop here at some point in the future. So if you enjoyed today's unboxing, please subscribe. That way you won't miss out on any of our other war game coverage going ahead. And thanks for watching today. Take care. We'll see you next time.